All right, welcome to the Dales Report, and happy to be joined with the president of SLANG Worldwide, Chris Driessen, as well as Shayne Lynn, president of High Fidelity. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us here in the Dales Report. Shayne, Chris, how are we doing?
Fabulous.
Doing well.
We've just closed on our transaction, so we're
Are you serious?
No pun intended. We're feeling great.
The deal's closed. Are you serious?
Done and done.
Done and done. Well, let's begin. SLANG Worldwide, as we just said, recently obviously purchased your company, Shayne High Fidelity, which is a pioneer company in the cannabis industry within the state of Vermont. So I'd like to learn more about the company itself and how you've been able to establish Hi-Fi as a leader in Vermont.
That's a great question. I've been working at it for probably a dozen years at this point. Started small, started going to the State House, listening to committee meetings, and then really getting involved, understanding what the patients needed here in the state of Vermont, and then going out and raising funds. We here in Vermont started as a nonprofit. We've had some challenges in the beginning to raising funds there, but it's been a long road, and I can get into details. I don't know how many details you want to get into. So.
No, that's all good. I'd like to learn more about the Vermont landscape, though. Like, you talk about what people want, what need, the opportunity, and most importantly, why this partnership with SLANG Worldwide made sense for you.
So back to the landscape here in Vermont, basically there's 5 medical licenses. We hold 2 of those medical licenses. The medical program is pretty small in Vermont. Let's say it's probably about 4,500 to 5,000 patients. We've been trying to push that at the State House. Obviously, a couple years ago, we got chronic pain allowed as a qualifying condition.
Okay.
And so back to really understanding what the patients need and looking at down the road, our relationship actually going back a little bit. It was probably 7 years ago that I reached out to Chris. We connected, started talking about OPEN, and we were super excited to be like, wow, we're going to be able to have vape pens in Vermont. Because we had tried doing it on our own in the beginning and trying to source things from China, and it was a nightmare. And so we created our relationship 7 years ago, and that's just that's really worked and kept us in touch with one another and brought us to this point.
Well, it's incredible at previous careers and how people are relationship building or connecting in this cannabis industry, because as much as the plant is old, the business side is new, and it's creating so many opportunities and obviously a lot of optimism, especially with some of the reports coming out this week with some of the MSOs and some of the revenue that they're generating. Big opportunity in the US. Chris, when I look on paper, this is a very strategic acquisition to your already impressive portfolio. High Fidelity now changes to SLANG Vermont. You have 2 of the 5 medical cannabis licenses, as Shayne indicated, but there's more to it than just that. Can you explain further as to what I mean by that and the opportunity that it does present?
Yeah, you bet. So, first, I think it's important to understand what High Fidelity SLANG Vermont is today.
Yeah.
They're a vertically integrated company. They've got 4 operating dispensaries, a 28,000 square foot cultivation, manufacturing, and distribution facility, statewide home delivery, and a robust portfolio of CBD products, including CBD retail store series. So a very vibrant business as it is right now, this very minute. The opportunity really for us as a company, as Shayne mentioned, we had a long previously existing relationship, which has been fabulous. But it's really about what's coming to Vermont. So with the tax and regulate market coming, AKA the adult use market, it's projected to be a $230 million market. There's 5 licenses, as Shayne said. Those licenses are vertically integrated, obviously. And now collectively, we own 2 of those 5 licenses. So huge opportunity for us, moving into that tax and regulator adult use market.
Yeah, big opportunity. So how do the conversations be? I know you guys had relationship, in touch for 7 years or so, but when you focus on Vermont, was it the relationship with Shayne that got conversations going, or were you looking strategically at states and numbers and projections that thought, this is an acquisition or a focus that we may need to focus on?
Well, a little bit of all of the above. As you know, life's a people game, but when it comes down to business, that sometimes can be a little bit of a different thing. And it just so happened that everything lined up for us here. So we had the opportunity to have a close relationship with Shayne. Obviously, the market in Vermont is changing quickly. And when you really look at kind of the ins and outs of the regulation, it really is setting itself up to be quite lucrative. So we're excited for that. You know, their focus on putting patients first. You know, Vermont obviously is known for all things craft, and they just do a tremendous job. High quality products, high quality people. So when you kind of look at what all of those factors were that went into it, it made a lot of sense for us to kind of start exploring this opportunity. And ultimately, as you can see, it manifested itself into a tremendous opportunity, not only for both of our collective companies, now SLANG,
Yep.
but of course our shareholders as well.
Good to know. Shayne, you indicated, and what I've learned about the Vermont market is that it's a place known for its dedication to high quality craft products. And in return, the SLANG Vermont team is known for high quality flower and patient first approach to servicing the medical cannabis community. So what's the mission statement that you want to communicate to consumers across the state moving forward?
That we're still committed to the high quality of dried flower, obviously, to all the products that we put out, you know, even to our edibles, using organic ingredients. And I guess a big part of that is that we're using local vendors for those ingredients as well.
Yep.
Really important to, you know, connect with our community. You know, Vermont's a small state, and so having those connections to the community have been really important for us. Back to our patients as well, they appreciate that, and you know, we're really looking forward to bringing that high quality into the future market.
That's great. Chris, you said earlier, you know, the market itself is projected to be $230 million in annual sales by 2025. Now, knowing that SLANG will be the largest retail operator in the state, would it be reasonable to project that SLANG could capture 30% or more of the retail flower sales?
Well, I mean, look, right now, Shayne and his group service 70% of the registered patients in the state. And although it is a small population state, it really punches above its weight class when it comes to tourism. You know, ask anybody really on the East
That's a
Coast,
big thing.
Absolutely. From Montreal to New York to Boston, you know, it's a beautiful place. This is where people come to unwind and experience quality and just, you know, kind of a great way of life, even if it's for a brief time. So we absolutely look forward to servicing not only the local Vermonters, but the, you know, millions, tens of millions.
I think it's roughly about 18 million visitors we get to the state. Right. So summer's a busy time here. We're right on Lake Champlain right now, talking to you.
Wow.
Obviously, ski resorts are a biggie as well. You know, another part of
18 million a year, that much.
Yep.
So forget the population of the state. Like this is wow, very overlooked state, but there's a lot behind the curtain, is there not?
For sure.
Well, to your point, Shad, you know, gosh, if we're only servicing 30% of those people, then that'd be a big trend from where they're at today. So we expect a lot out of the market. We're putting in a 50,000 square foot facility expansion here. So we're all in on Vermont. We couldn't be more excited about it.
Wow. Like what I hear.
Yeah, well, and I'd add just back to, hey, the craft growing, and part of the plan here is to work with some of the craft growers here in the state of Vermont. You know, craft growers are super proud of the product they produce. We're looking forward to representing some of those products and utilizing some of that dried flower to make Open. So I think there's going to be a lot of collaboration here in the state, and benefit evereverody.
Well, I think it's kind of important to understand, right? So you've got this platform, you've got these 5 tickets to play ball.
Yeah.
There's, you know, going to be a period of time where those are the only people that are allowed to play ball. So how do we leverage the series platform to not only be a benefit to SLANG, but for all the people that make this market great? If you haven't experienced flower in Vermont, I mean, it is absolutely tip top, you know, particularly on the East Coast, but rivals really anything in the country. So being able to really put a spotlight on some of these craft growers that do just a fabulous job. That's one of the big parts of the strategy as basically we expand into adult use.
This acquisition in some ways kind of mirrors what you're doing in Colorado, does it not, Chris?
A bit, you know, it is in that, look, our strategy is to be the most widely distributed house of brands in cannabis. So certainly this allows us to, you know, increase our product penetration here, get that out to more folks, Vermonters and tourists, and more importantly, though, it allows us now to move into a higher percentage recognition of that GMV. So being that it's everything from seed to literally retail sale, you're recognizing 100% of that GMV. So helps us out in a number of ways. And look, it's exciting. This will be the first
Yeah, for
time
sure.
that we're doing indoor cultivation. That aligns with our flower initiative that we're working on. It's the first time that we'll be in retail. That's great. It allows us to directly interact with consumers that enjoy our products. It's the first time for us to be involved with retail home delivery. Same
Right.
thing, direct to consumer. So a lot of different firsts, a lot of reasons to be excited. And then obviously the financial opportunity is vast.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but online sales will come to market May 2022 in Vermont, correct?
That is correct. The governor was a little slow in rolling out the bill. We're about probably 3 months behind. So what was formed recently was the Cannabis Control Board. And they've been busy, collecting data at this point to understand how they're going to create the rules and regs. And so, May 2022 is the goal, but it may be pushed a month or two, depending on how fast they can cycle through that. I know they've hired some consultants, Vicente Cedarberg, to help draft those rules and move it forward.
So based off of that, what sort of preparations, Chris, do you anticipate will occur in the lead up to adult use sales in Vermont, say next year?
Nothing at all. We're totally ready. I'm kidding. There's an absolute mountain of work, in addition to.
He sounds like a Cowboys fan, doesn't he?
Man, it wasn't good for me on the Hall of Fame game. Look, there's an absolute mountain of work ahead for all of us. In addition to this facility expansion, you've got staffing that you need to put in place to see all these things come to be.
Of course.
Shayne can tell you better than me.
Getting through.
Exhausting.
Back to even real estate, obviously the build out, retail locations. We're really looking forward to upping our retail locations. We've really focused on patient education here in the past and teaching people about cannabis. We want to make sure that people come to a new retail location and have an experience combined with the knowledge that we have about cannabis, because we're really looking at this future market that obviously a lot of people use cannabis, but a lot of people don't use cannabis right now, and we want to introduce cannabis to them. We want them to have a great experience at our retail stores.
Well, the big takeaway I get, over 18 million tourists per year. You're already servicing 70% of the state. So this is a big, big opportunity to say the least. Listen, I know both of you are busy. Last thing I wanted to ask, and here's a question, timeline wise, when do you think this deal will close? But needless to say, you guys kind of surprised me today, but the deal closed.
About an hour ago.
That's amazing.
Done
and done. Good stuff. Well, listen, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us today. Let's keep in touch, and congrats again on the acquisition, and look forward to seeing how things develop in the coming months.
Always good to talk to you, Shad. Thank you.
You as well, Chris. Thanks, Shayne.